hey there, it's so good to be with you today. I don't know what you're going through right now. Maybe you're questioning your worth after a breakup. Maybe you're sitting in a situationship that's wearing you thin, or maybe you're just tired of feeling invisible. Whatever brought you here, I want you to pause, breathe, and listen closely, because this might be the moment something finally clicks. People often ask me, Matthew, why do people fall in love with someone? Then what really makes love stick? And I've spent years studying it, coaching people through heartbreaks and breakthroughs. And here's the raw truthing there. People fall in love with you for only two reasons. And it's not your looks, it's not your bank account, and it's not your social media followers. Those things might attract attention, but they don't hold hearts. The first reason people fall in love is because of how you make them feel about themselves. Let that sink in. When someone is around you and they feel more alive, they're more capable, they want more of you, because we're all secretly walking through life carrying doubts, fears, insecurities. But when you become the person who quiets those voices in someone's head and amplifies their confidence, worth, their joy, you become irresistible. If people remember how they feel when they're around you, if you make them feel significant, safe, seen, not judged, not small, they attach to that feeling. That's the root of love, emotional safety. The second reason someone falls in love is how you see them. We think love is about being impressive, but it's actually about being attentive. People fall in love when you notice things they thought no one else saw, when you see their quiet strength, their hidden dreams, even their scars, and you don't run. You say, that, I can realize that they handle that. You give them permission to be raw, messy human. You don't fall in love with someone because they're flawless. You fall in love with someone because they make you feel understood, maybe for the first time in your life. That kind of love isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's steady. I see you even when you can't see yourself. And when you give that kind of love to someone, they will look at you and say, I don't know what it is about you, but I just feel like I'm home. So if you're searching for love right now, stop chasing people who don't see you. Instead, become the person who reflects the best in others, who listens deeper, who speaks to someone's soul, not just their ego. Because when you make someone feel good about themselves, and you see them for who they truly are, that's when real love begins. Those are the only two reasons people fall in love, not perfection, not performance, but presence and emotional connection. Master those, and you won't need to chase love. It will find you. You want to know the real reason people fall in love with you. It's not because of your smile, though that might catch their eye. It's not the way you walk, talk, dress, or the clever lines you rehearse in the mirror. Those things might create an initial spark. Yes, but they're not the glue that makes someone stay. The real reason, the first, deepest, and most underestimated reason people fall in love is because of how you make them feel about themselves. That's it. That's the whole secret. When someone is around you and they feel like a more confident, more alive, more valuable version of themselves, they become magnetically drawn to your presence. You don't need to be the most attractive person in the room. You don't have to be the smartest or funniest or richest. But if someone leaves a conversation with you thinking, I like myself more when I'm with them, they will want to come back again and again. We all carry insecurities. Every single person is walking through life with quiet battles inside. Maybe they feel like they're not good, and maybe they think they're too much or not enough. Realize that maybe they're constantly trying to earn love because they were taught early on that it's conditional. And when you show up in their life, and you don't try to fix them or judge them or compare them, you simply see them and make them feel worthy without having to perform. That's when something powerful happens. You become a mirror that reflects their best self back to them. That's not flattery. That's emotional intelligence. That's presence. That's love in action. Because we're not really looking for the hottest person or the one with the best job. We're looking for someone who, when we're around them, we feel more whole. We feel more alive. Realize that we feel like we belong. Think about the people you've loved the most in your life. Chances are you didn't love them because they had the perfect body or the most impressive Ren Summon. Realize that you love them because they made you feel more you. Maybe they made you laugh when you forgot how to. Maybe they made you feel seen after years of feeling invisible. Maybe they listened without trying to fix, held space without rushing to respond, encouraged you without belittling you. That's the kind of love that lands. That's what people remember. realize that that's what they crave more than physical attraction, emotional elevation. So the question becomes, how do you make people feel when they're around you? Do they feel like they have to try harder to be accepted, or do they feel like they can breathe deeper because they already are? Do you listen to understand or just to reply? Realize that do you bring peace or pressure? Because here's what happens to you when someone meets you and they feel like they're finally allowed to be themselves. They start associating you with emotional freedom. And emotional freedom is rare, it's addictive, it's beautiful. And most people don't even realize how much they crave it until they taste it. You don't have to put on a performance. You don't have to be flawless or always say the right thing. What you need is to be present, to create a space where someone feels like they matter, not because of what they do, but simply because of who they are. People fall in love with the person who makes them feel secure enough to be real. And if you can be the one who sees past the mask, they're past the presentation and into the heart of who they are, you've already done something extraordinary. You've become unforgettable. That when someone tells you something vulnerable and you don't flinch, when you respond with softness instead of skepticism, with curiosity instead of judgment, that's when they begin to trust you. That's when they begin to feel something deeper. And love can't exist without that foundation. That's why in relationships, it's not about how often you impress someone, it's about how consistently you make them safe.
Emotionally safe, Sean, important, not just liked,
but valued. Love grows in the micro moments that they're when you notice their nervousness and offer comfort instead of criticism, when you remember the small things they said and bring them up later. They're when you encourage their dreams instead of questioning them. These are the moments that whisper, you're safe here. You matter here. I see you. That's the language of love most people never learn how to speak. And the irony is, the more you help others feel good about themselves, the more deeply they fall for you. Realize that because it's not about becoming their savior. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need them to shrink to feel big. Love doesn't bloom in the shadow of ego. It blossoms in the presence of mutual respect and empathy. So if you really want to understand the first reason people fall in love, stop focusing on how to make someone fall for you. Focus instead on how you make them fall for themselves when they're around you. Be the person who brings light into their darkest thoughts. Be the voice that reminds them of their strength when they forget it. Be the gentle presence that doesn't need to fix them. Just honor them. That's how you win hearts. That's how you keep love alive, because anyone can make a good first impression, but not everyone can make someone feel at peace in their own skin. Do that there, and you won't just be someone they like, you'll be someone they never want to lose. The second reason people fall in love with you, and this one's just as powerful, just as deeply human, is not about how you make them feel about themselves, but about how you see them. People don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with perception. They're with your perception of them. You see, in a world where most people are trying so hard to be noticed, where we edit our photos, filter our personalities, and wear masks just to fit in, being genuinely seen by someone is one of the rarest and most profound experiences we can have. We're all carrying pieces of ourselves. We're afraid to show our flaws, our regrets, our awkward, the parts of us we think are too messy or too much. And when someone comes along who doesn't flinch at those parts, who doesn't look away, doesn't mock or minimize, but instead sees the whole person and embraces them anyway, it changes everything. That's when love gets real. Because true love doesn't say, I like you because you're perfect. It says, I love you even though. Realize that and maybe even because you're not, when you're the person who sees beyond the highlight reel, when you look someone in the eyes and see the fear behind the sarcasm, the tenderness behind the strength, the potential behind the insecurity, you become more than just a romantic interest. You become their safe place. And we all crave a safe place. Eyes that most people are starving to be understood, not just heard, but understood, not just looked at, but truly seen. And when you offer that, when you give someone the gift of feeling deeply known and still wanted, you give them the one thing they've been taught is impossibly unconditional acceptance. This is why some people fall harder for someone they feel seen by, even if that person doesn't check all the ideal partner boxes. Realize that because logic doesn't drive love, emotional resonance does. If you see me in a way the world never has, I will connect with you in a way I never have. Realize that's why being a great partner isn't about having the most impressive ray summon. It's about having the emotional intelligence to witness someone's truth without trying to change it. It's about curiosity instead of control. It's about asking deeper questions, noticing the small shifts in tone, the flicker in their eyes when they talk about something that matters to them. It's about seeing their inner world and respecting it. You want someone to fall in love with you, then be the person who notices what others ignore. When they say, realize that I'm fine, be the one who gently asks, are you really? And they light up talking about their childhood dream, be the one who remembers and encourages it. When they show you their pain, don't minimize it, hold it. And in doing so, you tell them without words, I see your shadows and I'm not scared of them. That's the difference between attraction and attachment. Realize their attraction might bring someone to your door, but being seen is what makes them stay. It's not about agreeing with everything they say or loving every part of their past. It's about respecting their wholeness, seeing their mess and not making them feel ashamed. They're seeing their brilliance and not making them feel like it's too much. You fall in love with someone who makes you feel safe to be all of you, not just the version you show the world. And when you are that person for someone else, when you are the one who holds space for their truth, they will associate you with emotional intimacy. And emotional intimacy is what glues love together. That's why sometimes it's not the loudest, charming, most confident person who gets the heart. It's the one who listens better, who sees clearer, who stays steady. Love is not a performance. Love is a witness. So many people have never felt seen in their entire life. They've been told to be tougher, quieter, smaller, more polite, less emotional. And when you come along and say, you don't have to shrink here, I love your fullness, I welcome it, it unravels them in the best way. Suddenly don't have to prove anything. Suddenly they feel worthy without earning it. And that creates a connection that no dating trick or pickup line ever could there. Because let's be honest, we all want to be loved not for the part we pretend to be, but for who we really are underneath all the pretending. So if you want to be unforgettable, if you want someone to truly love you, then become a master of seeing people, not just their surface, but their story. Ask real questions, hold real silence, offer real presence. Be the person who sits across from them and says, I see you, and what I see is enough. When you do that, you don't just become someone they like, you become someone they feel safe with. And love, real love, only grows where there's safety. That's how people fall not just in love with who you are, but with how they finally feel allowed to be who they are. So when we strip everything back beneath the games, the flirting, the dating apps, the rules, and the endless advice columns, it all comes down to this. People fall in love with you, not because of your outer packaging, not because you said the right words at the right time or wore the perfect outfit, but because of how you made them feel about themselves and how you saw them when maybe no one else ever truly did. These two reasons aren't just relationship tactics. They're the roots of human connection, the foundation of every meaningful bond you've ever had or will have. And the beauty of it all is that these things don't require you to change who you are. In fact, they demand that you become more of who you truly are. That's the secret most people miss. You don't need to become someone else to be loved. You just need to become someone who sees others and makes them feel seen. That's it. That's the magic. Think about it. Every time someone has fallen in love with you, not just liked you, not just crushed on you, but really loved you, it was because in your presence, they felt something different. They felt more alive. They felt more themselves. You weren't trying to impress them with a version of you that wasn't real. You were just present. You were listening. You were kind. You gave them space to show their truth. And the more you showed your truth to, the more real it became between you. Love isn't a performance, it's a mirror. And in that mirror, we either feel accepted or rejected, safe or judged, seen or invisible. So if you want lasting love, if you want to be unforgettable, not just liked, not just dated, but truly loved, you have to start by being the person who reflects the very best in someone and accepts the very messiest in them too. Because people don't stay for the fireworks. They stay for the warmth. They stay where they feel safe to be flawed, free to speak, held in their darkest thoughts, and celebrated in their light. You become unforgettable not by trying harder to be impressive, but by being more curious, more emotionally generous, more real. That's what people fall in love with. That's what they trust. And trust is the birthplace of love. So don't let the world trick you into thinking love is about competition, about being hotter, richer, or more popular. Love isn't something you win. It's something you grow. And growth happens when you treat people like they matter, when you slow down and ask deeper questions, when you pay attention to things others overlook, when you show up consistently as someone who adds value, not drama, not confusion, but calm, kindness, clarity, that's the rarest thing in today's world. And it's why when someone finds it in you, they know. They don't just enjoy your company, they crave it. They feel drawn to you like home, not because you gave them a thrill, but because you gave them something even more precious, peace. Peace in who they are. Peace in how they're loved. Peace in your presence. That's what people remember. That's what they never want to lose. And if you're someone who's been hurt, who's questioned your worth, who's wondered why love seems to pass you by, don't give up. Don't harden your heart or try to become someone cold just to protect it. Instead, double down on becoming someone who brings warmth into the room, someone who makes people feel alive again. You don't need to be everyone's cup of tea. You just need to be real enough for the right ones to taste the difference. So today, I invite you to stop chasing love and start cultivating connection. Look people in the eye. Ask how they really feel. Offer a safe space for truth. Reflect what's good in them and hold what's fragile. If you can do that, love won't just find you. It will stay with you. Because in the end, the most beautiful relationships aren't built on perfect timing or flawless attraction. They're built on emotional safety, mutual understanding, and a deep recognition that says, I see you, I value you, and when I'm with you, I feel more like me. Be that person. And love will never be far behind.